Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. And it is Friday, and Friday is Twitter Talk time, Black Twitter Talk. Let's bring on Rashonda Tate Billingsley of the Defender Network and, of course, Makia Cooper of the Bayou Beat. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Oh, somebody seemed like they're ready for some Twitter talk. First of all, so Black Twitter. Let me just say this first. Is there really a Black Twitter? Don't we need? Let me call it something else.
I don't know if I can co-sign that one because Black Twitter keeps me entertained.
Black Twitter is a culture,
Okay.
We own that. We own the memes. It's like the internet strikes again memes, the Black Twitter memes. It's a fun place to be.
Well, what I'm saying, we could bring that to another platform, right? I mean, because Elon is going crazy over there.
He still don't have that sauce though. Nothing like Black Twitter.
I don't know. My bags are packed and by the door. I'm waiting to see what happens.
You ready to move out?
I'm ready to move out. I might have to go be Black Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So how about Diddy paying? It just came out that Diddy is one of the investors with Elon Musk in Twitter. He paid somewhere north of $10 million to be a part of Twitter with Elon. Elon had like a group of investors, including the Saudi prince, but it turns out Diddy is one of the investors.
Diddy's about that business, and I don't know that Elon has had has had trouble with Tesla and with some of his other businesses with Black employees, but I don't know that people put Elon in the category with Trump yet. And so I can see them making business investments to deal with them because, he's the world's richest man. We'll have to see how it plays out with him being on Twitter and him opening the door for the hate and all of the things that we hate about Twitter. We'll have to see how that goes. But right now, I think it's a business decision for Diddy.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing is, if it is a business, well, of course, Diddy is all about business. So with it being a business decision, it also gives Black people or a Black person a seat at the table in this digital space, right? So then some of that hate speech and some other things, maybe Diddy being the person that he is, can be one of those contributors to change the narrative of what we allow. So for that, I applaud him.
Well, that they said since Elon took over, the use of the N-word on Twitter rose over 50%.
Yeah, but you also know the Parler people are upset. So I know Elon. I don't like Elon at all. But what's happening is he's catching it from both sides because I think the Parler people thought, okay, we're about to have free reign. And so they're upset as well. So I think we're really gonna have to just keep an eye and see how this all plays out. Now, the fact that he's retweeting conspiracy theorists gives me an indication that this might not be going in our favor.
Like you said, the bags are packed and at the door. Now here's the big question before we move on. Who's paying to keep their blue check mark? I'm telling you right now, as of whenever that goes into effect, I will no longer have a blue check. I'm not paying for a blue check. I'm with Stephen King. You should be paying me.
Exactly. Well, this is the question because, so then I wanted to know, so then is it everybody can pay for a blue check now?
Mm-hmm.
Which wipes away the meaning, right?
Yeah.
So then you don't need a blue check, Everybody can get a blue check.
And it's anybody that's willing to pay the $8 per month. So,
now it's $8. He started out at 20.
Talking about 20. No, 20. Yeah, well, it's currently, but it's going up to 20. All of these pseudo psychiatrists on social media and these life coaches that want to tell you about your life and
life coaches not married. I remember. I don't even want to say it because if I do, I might get in trouble. But I had a life coach. I had a woman. I'm not going to even say it. She had some serious signs of maybe she needed a life coach, but she was spamming me.
Oh, gosh.
She wanted to be sit with me for lunch. And I kept saying, well, what is it that you want? You know, I didn't know what it was. She was trying to sell me her services.
And you're gonna get that. You're gonna get a lot of that with that $20 because they're gonna have a blue check mark because they pay $20.
Well, therapists, many therapists have therapists. They see therapists themselves.
Yeah.
So
yes, they should.
As they should, she said.
A life coach or a business coach, and I'm
God.
gonna leave that alone because if I I'll get one of those body shaming type of things. The woman was, like I'm not saying this. I'm not. It was like about over the 500 plus pound mark or something. I'm not saying that, but you know how sometimes they're on that, and it's like, is that one of those indications that you need? A life coach or a health coach or a fitness coach, something, because they say sometimes because I'm a plus size woman, when we get to certain things, like, is there something internal going on? I'm not saying that, but I was just like, this woman is unmarried. This woman is this and that. She had a lot of stuff going on. And I was like, and she's coming at me about life, health, and fitness. And it just didn't quite match up. So I just said, okay, I'd rather us be buddies and, do things together, and inspire each other. But yeah, me paying you for you to try to help me get my life together. And
that's how I kind of feel about Twitter. Is this supposed to be free speech? That's one of Elon's big things. Twitter is free speech. Well, now it's free speech as long as you pay $20 a month.
Yeah, for that blue check. And I'm just not doing it. And we had yesterday we had Chuck D on. Chuck like, I'm out. Everybody's out. Everybody's out. Listen, so Rashonda, what's on your Twitter feed?
We got quite a bit we're talking about. One of them is Oprah endorsing not her friend, but John Fetterman in Philadelphia. That's one of the things everybody's talking about this morning.
That's the monster she created, though. She created that monster. Now she's trying to slay it.
Okay, we're not gonna blame a black woman.
We ain't about to do that, right?
That's what we're not gonna do, is blame the black woman. Dr. Oz wasn't to this extreme when she crafted him, when she helped him launch his career. Right. And so now she's saying, okay, I helped launch his career, and he's gone out of control. So if you got any sense, you're voting for John Fetterman.
It's so funny because we had from the Philadelphia Inquirer, we've had on a few times Janice Armstrong, and early on in this race, she said that she really, and I saw her tweet too the other day or yesterday, but she had been saying how she was counting on Oprah to come set matters straight when it comes to Dr. Oz, and yesterday she tweeted, I knew my girl Oprah was going to come through. so Oprah did come through, and she realized, look, y'all ain't blaming me for that.
Right.
Look, I'm sounding like Barrington calling a political figure an idiot. That's not nice. We're not going to do that. So anyway, Nakia, what's on your timeline down there?
Well, what's going on in Houston right now. It's going on all over the world, but it originated here. The tragic shooting or fatal shooting of Takeoff from the Migos. Yeah. And it just really has been one of these, it's another culture shock, right? It is, can people no longer gather? Can people no longer celebrate? Can people no longer have a civil disagreement without guns coming out? Because there's a lot of who shot John going on right now. And there's a lot of he said, she said, this person did it. This is how it started. Mm-hmm. And we probably, of course, will, Houston Police Chief Troy Fenner has vowed to get to the bottom of it. And trust me, I know he will, because like they said, over 40 people were there, and somebody in the middle of a crowd, opened fire. And there's cameras, there's cell phone cameras, there's business cameras. That person will be tracked down. But you have to say, was it necessary? Of course, violence is never necessary, right? But it comes to the culture of when did we stop talking? When did we?
And this you talk about
that question, because we know that answer, right? this
It-
generation will take you out over stepping on a Jordan or, chewing bubblegum the wrong way, it seems. You know, this didn't have to happen.
yeah. It definitely did not have to happen, and now we're getting more and more, apparently more and more clarity on it, and just to show you just how trivial it is, if you listen as it's been brought out, and the chief so far what he has pieced together, if you listen to the videotape, this was not one of those arguments in the allegedly it was Quavo who was having the argument and not Takeoff. But this was an argument about who was better at basketball.
Basketball.
And it escalates to shots. It's as senseless as can be.
One of the things we're building, I don't know what's wrong with the culture now. In fact, I just did a story this morning. They just convicted a 31-year-old black man here who shot a kid who got into an argument with his son. The two kids, one was 8, one was 11 and 12. And they got into an argument while playing basketball. And one of the younger kids hit the older kids, and his father came back and shot everybody and ended up shooting the 8-year-old or the 11-year-old. And the crazy part is just the mindset that's going to be my first reaction is I'm going to get my gun and shoot the place up. That's why we're in this position that we're in. Unfortunately, when you look at just the whole rapper scene, there has been one rapper killed by gun violence every year since 2018.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we brought that stat up yesterday to Chuck, and Chuck, rightly stated, he said, "Yeah, we're talking about the ones we know, right? Because
exactly,
it's basically happening monthly, and it's really ridiculous. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of this persona that everyone, not everyone, but many are portraying that invites challenges, gun battles and things of that nature. It's just way out of control, and hopefully, they can get a handle on this. We know Greer, and I know she's been to the meetings, to a meeting with the hip hop folks, KRS-One, Chuck D, and others, all in the same gang is what they're calling it. And the older guard is trying to, put some or create an atmosphere of peace with these young guys, and they're young and they are wealthy,
rich,
and so it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think that, and it's so funny because number one, I am a huge Chuck D fan. Okay, if I would have been on this with you, yesterday, then I would have been like, because I'm a huge Chuck D fan. When I am at work in the news station, I put on when I'm writing certain stories, and like I write with music. I'm always putting on Fight the Power. And I mean, seriously, that is it. I mean, like that part, and I rewind the part every time when he says Elvis was a hero to most, but he did, this. But I also remember the times when I know the lyrics, to when we have the, like, we're all in the same gang. Gosh, it's the other one that was just at the tip of my tongue. But Self-destruction. That's it. With KRS-One and all of that. It just everything. You're headed for self-destruction.
Yep.
And they had this mass movement with trying to make everybody, understand that wasn't the way to go. And that's when rappers were, they didn't have it as much. These children are listening to the wrong rappers. For number one, a lot of it is mumble rap. You can't understand what they're saying. And then what you can understand is about violence. It's about glorified. It's all about the chain. It's all about this and that. So it's labels, and like they don't even have content. I'm sorry, Tupac, and I can go on and on. My children, and my son is a teenager, and he says that Tupac is not the best rapper. Like, like that, you almost want to pass out when they say Tupac was whack. No, he wasn't. But this is just this generation gap, that they just don't get it. And what they rap about, they're playing it out, because with the lyrics, or the content, right? Because I'm a huge rap fan. I think I'm going to be rapping when I'm 90 years old. With the lyrics mixed with social media, mixed with the flashing of the dollar bills, mixed with every time you come to a certain city, you have to stop by the jeweler. You have to post bling, and you have to post, where you are, what you're doing, and then you become a sitting duck.
Yeah.
The women come out, and this is the other thing. They are not like the crowds these days are not like when Cedric the Entertainer said on Kings of Comedy, when something breaks out, everybody just run and just go ahead and get out the way. They are standing there. Just imagine Takeoff was shot and killed, and 2 other people, bystanders, were shot and survived. But nobody ran a different way when the argument, or nobody left the argument. They sat there to film it. When they say when something happens, everybody needs to. Back in our day, we scattered. Oh, okay, look, it's not going well. We used to say bullets have no names.
Yep.
They're inviting it. It's like, when do we walk away? When do we walk away? And then obviously, and I hate to say this, I hate to take the time up, but Quavo walked away in the video that I saw.
Right. In fact, he was behind the gunman. He was behind him. So in the video that's been circulating, that it appears to be authentic. He was behind the person with the gun. And I'll tell you right now, Nakia, if I ever get that type of money, I'm rolling into town with you. And if I get into argument, if the argument breaks, I'm just like, okay, Nakia, handle that.
Yeah, we running. I'm the type. Bullets have no names. I'm getting out of Dodge. I do not stick around to see anything. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look right. I don't care. I will leave if there's an argument in the nail salon. I'm getting up and be like, okay, when they handle that, we get up, daughter. We got to get up out of here. Just things like that. You have to move out of the way.
Folks running toward it now with their phones.
With the phones.
Yeah, with the phones. Like, come on. Listen, let me tell you what's on my timeline. I got to share this because it's not funny in any way, shape, or form. But I tell you what, I am extremely entertained by it. And Sonia Douglas, and I really like Dr. Sonia Douglas. I really do. We've had her on the program. We've had her estranged husband on the program as well, Congressman Horsford in Nevada. But they keep triggering this woman. And why do you keep doing this? Congressman, you're in a race now that is neck and neck, and yet you keep poking the bear, as it were. Don't mess with Sonia. Sonia had told you a long time ago, don't mess with her. She writes in her most latest missive, this, and look, you can almost hear and feel it when you read it. She goes, I was just minding my business until Stephen and his attorney demanded I sign a non-disclosure agreement that would ban me from speaking about my 22-year marriage, his 10-year affair, and our divorce forever. It includes $10,000 fines for each remark or social post, even to a therapist, y'all, she says. Why you keep messing with her? She says, then she goes on to say, I had no intention of posting anything and kept quiet the entire campaign. To think I would even want to mention his name is ridiculous. Who looks through the trash after you've taken it out? But I don't respond well to bullying or intimidation. So here we are. And finally, she writes, and he's already blaming me should he lose his race. Refuses to take responsibility for his own actions. He had hundreds of chances to do the right thing, but he chose violence. Listen, I don't know, Rashonda, Nakia, if you know Dr. Douglas, Dr. Sonia.
I don't, but I need to.
I like her.
I need to be going and following her right now.
Yeah, we need to take her to lunch. I love it. The tea is hot and piping. Hey, that brother should have left her alone, like we said before. And you don't threaten anybody. He does not hold the cards. He's the one, as it seems, that cheated. So you're gonna cheat on me? Too.
And how she find out about the affair? How did she find? it was an assistant that works with him or something like that, I believe. Greer and I have been talking about this through the entire year, throughout the entire year, and it's just been, she initially surfaced with her tweets about her personal life like this when he decided to run again, and apparently they supposed to have been working on their marriage. They got kids involved, etc. They were working on their marriage, and he apparently agreed that he would not run again, and spend that time trying to fix the family. I mean, it was broken. He had allegedly a 10-year affair. He decides to run, and she went to Twitter and she was fed up. And then she got quiet for a while. Then back in August, she resurfaced with some things because they were doing some things she didn't like. And then now he's telling her she can't even talk to her therapist.
But you can't control that.
That's just intimidation. And the quickest way to get a Black woman to do something is tell her she can't.
Well, I like that line though about taking out the trash.
That's a good one. I'm gonna have to put that in the book.
Rashonda, this should be your next book. I know you can put some stank on this story. She can put some stank on this story, and then take them to church on it. This is good.
Oh well, and obviously the Republican challenger to Congressman Horsford in Nevada seized upon it. Sam Peters, he held a press conference yesterday. He called for Stephen Horsford to resign due to his ex-wife's public allegations of bullying, intimidation, and violence. Peters said that he will be sending a letter to the House Committee on Ethics to request an investigation into the allegations against Horsford. He says if he will extort his wife, what will he do to you, his constituents?
Yeah, she rocking that vote. I can tell you that.
You gotta leave her alone. What? Yeah. Give her what she wants.
You want to leave her alone. That's not the time. It's too much at stake out here, to do anything to shift votes one way or another through personal problems,
Yeah, he's the one apparently, without, and I keep saying apparently because we don't know the full story, but it has not been refuted. He's the one with the 10-year affair, right? He's the one that messed up the marriage. Why you keep, and this is, she's, like I said, she's a Black woman. She's a strong Black woman, but she's also very intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she knows what she's doing. But this is the thing.
Goodness grief.
He knew that she was intelligent. He knows who he was with.
And I'm just surprised at the party.
To stop, leave alone.
Listen, Rashonda, is it a little surprising that the Democratic Party hadn't stepped in early because they're desperate? This is a House seat that they could very well lose, and they don't need to lose any more seats than what they already anticipate losing next week.
Yeah,
how do we know that somebody didn't say something to him already? He doesn't seem like he likes to
listen, right?
Right. and that seat could very well be in jeopardy. But that's the I don't know anything about the man, but those are the common personality traits of someone that thinks they're just able to tell a Black woman to shut up. Is that I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to run for this, and who cares about my personal life? I'm still going to get elected. He must think he's a Republican.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm just seeing this too. On a different note, we talked earlier about Diddy. Just got this text that he's about to buy cannabis operations in New York, two other states for up to $185 million. The largest Black-owned cannabis company. So Diddy up there making all these moves, huh? What is going on? And speaking of making moves, here's something else on my timeline. Byron Allen. What does Byron Allen, Jay-Z, and Jeff Bezos have in common? They are all trying to buy the Washington Commanders football team. Isn't that something? And Jay-Z has probably has the inside track. Now, word is that he is probably going to he's likely is going to team up with Bezos to make the purchase. But if you recall, in 2019, Jay-Z made that controversial, what seemed to be a very controversial deal with the NFL, where he controls the halftime show. And people were wondering what was up with that. Well, it's always, when you are so-called business mogul, it's always something behind something, right? So that deal with the NFL seems to put him in the driver's seat to buy this team, which would be interesting, wouldn't it? Now, Jay-Z also formerly owned the Brooklyn Nets, was a minority owner in the Brooklyn Nets. But Byron Allen, of course, his pockets are by no means light.
I think it's like a game of Monopoly,
Mm-hmm.
You got to get Park Place, you got to get this and that. So it's like, I think what we see with these powerful men, and hey, I applaud them. It's like, we've been restricted from so many different things, and it's like, okay, so now I'm going after this NFL team. We'll tackle soccer soon. Mark my words, somebody going after one of these soccer teams. NFL, NBA, soccer, MLB, a couple of nightclubs, a couple of liquor brands, a house of couture. It's just putting themselves everywhere we were once upon a time shut out. Think about that. Think about how Kanye West, I hate to say this, went gaga over the fact that he could sit next to Anna Wintour. Right? Lost his soul to say, I'm at Fashion Week with Anna Wintour. Instead of being and elevating, other Black designers and helping them get to front row Fashion Week, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was about, I hate to say it, and this is not about Jay-Z and the rest of them, because I love what they're doing, but for some people, it's about the white man's ISIS code.
Well, we have definitely seen that, and you okay? So y'all Houston folks, let me your Astros are one win away from the World Championship, but I wrote a story earlier this week. This is the first World Series where neither team, since 1950, where neither team has a Black American player.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with Major League Baseball?
They're trying to play football and basketball.
Yeah.
I really hate to see all of this great talent that's going in the World Series right now. And you mean to tell me there are no Black people that are worthy of that label? I think
26 men for each team. So that's 52 players, and not one of them are Black American.
Well, I do want to say this. It's about the exposure, and it's about a lot of it is about us as parents and what do we expose our children to. So my partner and I, we have a nonprofit called Sister to Sister, me and Rebecca Briscoe. And we were blessed to have, we've been in communications with Mr. Dusty Baker, and we were blessed that he invited us to sit in his seats behind the dugout at an Astros game. And so we're there, and you look around, you see a wealth of Hispanic children, right? You see, of course, many white children, and you don't see our Black children. Yeah. Because this is something that now what we have to do is get our players involved and people that expose them early on. Make these games, a little more affordable for children to come. Let's do more to get more Black children out there. Yeah. Right? Because most of the Blacks that you see are Black Hispanics, playing Major League Baseball, right? Because they're part of that Hispanic culture. But what about African Americans, right? We don't have that. Yeah. When Bun B had a cap, an Astros cap, and he had a big launch at Academy Sports and Outdoors a few years ago, and I went, the line was out the door and around the corner, down, wrapped out the parking lot and it was full of Hispanic people purchasing that Bun B limited edition Astro signature cap. We're not exposed to it early. I can tell you that I have never taken my son to a baseball game. Mm-hmm. But I did go hog wild crazy to just make sure he got a Rockets ticket to go see Dwight Howard. It's because of my lack of knowledge. It's because of I wasn't exposed to it. So now I'm trying to race to not only get him there, as a team to say, okay, but, I need you to listen to this, or look at it this way, because we have these athletic children. And like Bo knows sports and Bo Jackson, he can do it all. We have to show them all that they can do those things. So that's why you look at people like the Bo Jacksons, the Deion Sanders, those, sports players.
Well, and baseball is there's no real outreach, right? To
no outreach. That's the thing.
They have no, and because when I was a kid, I have 5 brothers. We all played, right? One of my brothers, to this day, if he'd chosen to go major league, he would be a Hall of Famer. There's no question about my brother Darren would have been a Hall of Famer. My uncle tried out for the Yankees. He was a star high school player. I played in high school too. I wish that I was nearly as good as my uncle and my brother Darren, but they were all world, right? I won a couple of Golden Gloves myself, a couple of batting titles, but I was not Darren. I was not my Uncle Tony. We all played. And back then, though, even then, when we all played, we saw the advantages that others, other than our people, had. And Major League Baseball didn't do much then. And I know they got some academies here and there.
Good question. But I think it was because, like, think about all the things that Jackie Robinson and the other people like Satchel Paige and what they went through, and the way that we were slugging and we were swinging those bats, and then sooner or later they kept doing things to shut us out, right? You change the Negro leagues, take that away, and all of that, of course, with the integration and all of those things. But baseball became backstreet to where the other ones, like basketball, which was all about celebrating that black man, having that black player out there, right? Then those kind of things took center stage, I think. And then some kind of way we got away from baseball, got more into the other sports, I think due to acceptance and stardom, right? Because when you got the Dr. J's and other people coming in and changing the way we look and changing the way that, the swag of it all and doing all of this and making it like to stay sexy, then you have the thing that's less trendy now, right? Go away, but we got to figure out a way to bring it back. Yeah. And I think if we can set our youth up for some lucrative futures. It is just the
I'm
same
serious
thing.
Because these guys, so for instance, you got a couple of guys on the free agent market this winter. They are they're starting the negotiations at $40 million a year.
We gotta let go out there.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you know what they saying? Like they say, this could be you, but you playing, right? We gotta let them know. All right.
But Rashonda, check this out. So we talked before we went live about this ad in Georgia. You got to see this, and then we'll talk about it. Let's take a look at this ad.
When did racism against white people become okay? Joe Biden put white people last in line for COVID relief funds. Kamala Harris said disaster aid should go to non-white citizens first. Liberal politicians block access to medicine based on skin color. Progressive corporations, airlines, universities all openly discriminate against white Americans. Racism is always wrong. The left's anti-white bigotry must stop. We are all entitled to equal treatment under law. America First Legal paid for this ad. When did racism against white people...
No, I hadn't seen that one.
I mean, listen, have at it. Go ahead, Rashonda.
I have no words.
It does kind of leave you speechless, right?
It does. What they're doing is the classic playbook, GOP playbook, is go after fear, is get these people, spread lies, and play into their fear. And that's exactly what's happening with that ad. I just hate that you can put blatant lies on the air and not be checked. It's
Right.
almost like a blatant lie should be forced to come with a disclaimer, but that's that's the world we live in.
Yeah, where's the FCC, right?
Yeah.
Nakia,
I'm gonna remain mute this time. I'm speechless, and that rarely happens, right? I'm speechless. Like I said, there's so many things we could say, but keep putting out those ads, Karen. We see you. You're the victim. We got you, Karen.
What I hope happens is I hope that whoever the tweeter is that message right there. When we see this kind of BS, it just motivates us and inspires us to get to the polls. Because I'm worried about that. I'm worried about the turnout right now. Early voting in Houston, where it ends today, and the numbers are down. And the number of younger voters are way down, which generally means, the older voters are the ones that are coming out to the polls. And we know how that usually ends up. We've got to get these people out. And if that can have the same effect for the white viewers in Georgia seeing it to motivate them to get out, I hope all other races will look at it and be motivated as well.
Well, Isaac Hayes III was the one who tweeted that out. And, it really brings to mind, a broader picture, right? You see what's going on, and now it's they're not hiding what they're trying to do.
Oh no,
and then to say what they said, like you said, there's no disclaimer there. Kamala Harris says non-white citizens first. Kamala Harris never said that, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly, we keep seeing, this is why when Kanye went on his George Floyd rant, his unfortunate, disgusting George Floyd rant, this is why it's important that the Black press, Black journalists hold people accountable, because they're saying whatever now. They're saying whatever, and then Kanye, he loses all of the good cold ice, as you said earlier, his association with the better ice or the colder ice or whatever, right?
White man's ice.
And then what does he say? Adding, thinking that he's saying the right thing now, thinking that he's going to win some points now, says, now I know what it's like to have a knee in my neck.
That is the worst thing that brother could have done. I don't understand why anybody in his camp does not shake him, slap him. I'm not supposed to say that. We don't want to say violence, but I'm just saying sometimes you just need a mama to smack you in the mouth, or a great auntie, grandmother, girlfriend. Somebody is with this man in intimate hours that needs to say to him, we need to stop. But of course, nobody's going to do that, because what did I say that last time? You never want to piss off your billionaire friends. Right? Nobody's accountable, and of course we should.
Yeah. Is that why we don't have any billionaire friends?
I know.
All my friends are broke. Oh God.
Yeah, my side eye is too slick for billionaire friends, I suppose.
Yeah. We just gonna keep praying for them, and I think what it is though, Kanye's words are becoming obsolete now, because everybody has a side eye for him now. Nobody is going to remember, or we are going to reminisce about the days of the Jesus Walks and all of the great music that he did, right? And we're now looking at him as somebody you just like, oh, that's just Kanye. Right now you're just thinking about him as that everybody has an uncle like that in the family, right? So I think now you just don't. We're going to get to the point where we don't pay attention to him, and I think that is something that he's going to, him and his associations and his attention. When he gets that lack of attention and people just stop listening to him, I think that's going to hurt him more.
There is not one major celebrity, one star out there who wants to feel that way. They run around, they say, I just want my privacy. None of them want that.
That's right.
You stop paying attention to them, they might start diving off bridges.
Mhm.
They can't handle that. And you're right. Kanye, if you stop paying attention, Kanye will maybe it will drive. People say he needs help. If he really does need mental help or health help or whatever, maybe it'll drive him to get some.
But can we please, Black people, stop saying, y'all don't understand my brother. He's on a higher plane.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's doing all of this with purpose. He playing a long game.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not being strategic whatsoever. This is hustling backwards at its finest. Kanye is the epitome of hustling backwards right now. First, we were applauding him, and we did a side eye. We kind of thought that when he first did the thing, we didn't pay attention. When he first did the Taylor Swift, interruption, we just thought, oh, poor little white girl. He got up there and he took the microphone because he was Queen Beyonce, right? And Beyonce went up there, and what did she do? She held him accountable on that stage, and she corrected it and gave Taylor her moment, right? So we need more Beyoncés out there to hold him accountable, give people their moments when he takes away, those moments from people, when he makes those things, to publicly say, this is not okay, right? But that takes one billionaire to correct another billionaire, right? Nobody is correcting this man, but now we do have it. We have Diddy saying, hey, bro, that's not right. Yeah. But the people who are not on that level are excusing, because we say more power to them, right? And I hate to say it. It's just like, for some people, the OJ whodunit, and some people, even if you thought OJ was guilty, some people just wanted to see a Black man beat the system, right? And that's what I think it is.
That was certainly the case with OJ.
Because he's a Black man who has broken barriers financially, right? That some of us dare to dream about.
And look, here's a question. And Greer posed this question here too. I was thinking something along those lines, but has Candace Owens canceled Kanye? I mean, now that she's got what she wanted out of it, you don't see any linking up between them two at all.
She got that Parler deal out of it.
She got the Parler deal.
And dropped.
But it's not signed yet, so she gonna be quiet for now.
That's what she's doing. That's right. Okay. See, so she not hustling backwards.
because she's done quiet.
Yeah, she gonna be quiet because she wants that deal to go through.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shame to allow whether he has the capacity now. He's had, like some say, look, he had the capacity to sign these billion-dollar deals and et cetera, et cetera. But whether he has the capacity or not, folks are going to look to take advantage of you. And come on, Candace Owens is the epitome of opportunists.
Yeah,
disgusting.
and she is, there's no shame in her game whatsoever. What happened? I'm gonna ask y'all because
right, she's also sipping from the white man's ice, right? Doesn't she have one by her side?
But what? So Rashonda and Nakia, this Black woman who, what happened to her? Bottom line, when you see stuff like that, like a Candace Owens, and I mentioned her because this same can go to Ben Carson, same can go to that Justice Thomas. But I'm speaking to you women, Black women, to talk about this Black woman. We saw with Omarosa what happened, right? And so soon as things went a little left, boy, they got rid of her, and she was not allowed back in, and she's still not allowed back at the barbecue, pretty much.
Rightfully so. What happened is when Candace Owens was a Democrat, did you know who she was?
Right.
And so you when you have opportunists, they see opportunities. And the same thing for Silk and Polyester. They were Democrats.
Okay.
You didn't know who they were.
Silk and cubic zirconia. Polyester and silk cubic zirconia. Mm-hmm.
You didn't know who they were when they were Democrats because they fit in with everybody else. I have a friend who is a staunch Trumper, an ex-friend who is a staunch Trumper.
She underscored that ex.
Speaks crazy about Black people. And it didn't start happening until he couldn't get speaking engagements. And then I believe he looked at what will make me relevant. And being a vocal Black Republican who jumps on the MAGA bandwagon will make me relevant. And it did. Now he's making a whole lot of money going around speaking. And so I think that's what happened with Candace. I think that's what happened with all of them.
But isn't it a little bit of an eye opener when you're talking about Kanye and you think about how they took all that money from him and like that he really wasn't in control. He's, I'm a billionaire. And then next thing you know, Forbes said, well, Adidas left you, Balenciaga left you, this one. Now not that it's a little bit of money, but now you're only worth about $400 million.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting thing, right? Because they can snatch it, can't they?
They can. Yeah. You can't bite this. So that's the thing a lot of people think. I think Kanye thought, I make them too much money. They're not going to let me go. I can say what I want when I want. Indeed. And they're not going to let me go. And when they're already billionaires, and yes, you make them some more billions. But at the end of the day, they're still, they're sitting in their boardroom going, so this little Black dude think we can't get rid of him. We're going to show him.
He called Adidas out too. And as soon as he did, he said Adidas cannot go on without him. And Adidas just snatched their deal from him. I was looking.
You know what this reminds me of? On Boomerang, when Strange, right? She's Grace Jones. Oh, I just love it. I love that. I love that character. Remember, Strange was untouchable, right? And she made that cologne Steel Vagina. Okay, and she did all of her antics, and they eventually had to spank her butt. And it was the Robin Givens character, the Black woman, that said, "Oh no, you will be on that plane. You will do this, or I will wrap you up in litigation." It took another strong one to say, we're gonna cut this out. I think what they just did, they strong jaded them. They said, you think that you are untouchable, right? You think that you can do this and take off your underwear and rub them up under somebody's nose like they did on that show, on the classic scene. But here is the deal, and I hate to put it like that because I have to make it comical to make it make sense. You are doing the most out here, and you have to get spanked. They don't care because they were at billionaire status before you hopped on that, before you crossed over. And one thing you must know, people love, you forget, I hate to say it. It's like what Ice Cube says. Here's what they think about you. The way they brought you, people love to take a Black man down, right? They love it. You gave them exactly what it is. Because, trust me, the way he talks, and he's very reckless, sometimes people are just waiting on you. They're tired of you already, and they are waiting on you to make that move for them to cancel you out of there and then show you what they thought about you all along, right? It's no longer sexy. And it's just like, you know what, we can do without you. And sometimes people do that to put people in a place. I make jokes, but I am hurt, by the things that he says, right? It's not going to affect my family because guess what? I have the control to talk to my children about those different things. And I talk to them a lot because I am a journalist and we are the truth seekers. And then we are going to sit here and go way over our times and do this and that. And but before I let my child out the car, it's like, hey, let's have a discussion about this. But she's like, Mama, please, I just want to go to school. But a lot of people don't do that. And so we let them get away with so many things. And so people like Kanye, who is spreading the rhetoric that he spreads, and it makes absolutely no sense. It just keeps us on those teachable moments, lets us know why Black history is so relevant in school. It's just like everything is just, it's just too much, right? And then, but it makes you think, and it makes you have these conversations because we have to have these conversations in Black America. Yeah. We have to be able to stop the future January 6th, from happening. And you have to know who's on your side. And one thing Clarence Thomas showed us, Mr. I don't believe in, I don't know what diversity looks like, and affirmative action needs to go away. I'm wondering if he realizes his position when he made it was part of it.
It's all too interesting. But his last question: can Black journalists be critical of themselves, of ourselves?
Yeah, we need to be.
We need to be, right?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
we're wrong. Trust me, I say a lot of stuff that sometimes people say, Nakia, you shouldn't have said that. And I say, you know what, that's right. But we have to have a checks and balances on ourselves,
Mhm.
right? I gotta have another sister like Rashonda that'll tap me on the shoulder and say, sister, let's talk about this.
And we got to be receptive to that.
Mhm.
Black journalists are humans, and so there will be mistakes made. And it's all about receiving it with the spirit that it is given. And a lot of times you'll have people that feel like, well, I can't really. I'm Black, so I can't speak out wrong on racism, and we can get it wrong. And part of growing and being a human being is admitting, okay, I got it wrong. Or here's how I can be better. So yes, we absolutely can be critical.
Well, we Twitter Talk Friday. What a talk. We thank Nakia Cooper, the Bayou Beat, and of course Rashonda Tate Billingsley, the Defender Network. It's always a privilege to have y'all on. This is always a great conversation, and we thank you so much. And we thank you all for joining the Black Presses. Let It Be Known. Have a great and safe weekend. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
Thank you.